Okay, so could you please introduce yourself, tell me your name, age, where and what you're currently studying?
Hi, my name's Timothy Gibbons. I'm studying at St Martin's. I'm studying performance design and practice, which is kind of like costume design and set design and other stuff with theatre, but I like to work within fashion as well, even though it's kind of restrictive. Yeah, that's what I do.
My name's Kai, my name's Callum Gardner. I study in Manchester at Manchester Metropolitan University. I'm 22. I study like fashion promotion.
Yep.
Hello, my name is Sarah Cinnamon. I do a BA in Fine Art in Central St Martin's and I'm in my second year and I'm 21.
So as young Northern Irish people, you made the decision to uproot from our home and pursue your careers in the creative industries in England. What's your reasoning behind this?
Well, my reasoning for moving here was kind of because I got into St Martin's. Before that, no one took me seriously. My careers tutor at school didn't take me seriously. Like when I applied to CSM, my careers tutor was like to me, I'm not Landy's, my careers tutor was like, you sure? You sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
Like my careers tutor was like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't even understand. And then I got the offer, like at the end of March, like about 3 years ago. Completely changed everything, and it was just kind of like from there on my parents were like, right, my parents still didn't know, but they spoke to people and people were like, wait, Timmy's gone into St Martin's, like what the fuck, like who, like so and so went there, like, and then my parents kind of took it seriously, and then from there it was kind of like, if you're going to do art, my parents were like, you can do it.
What about
Not
you?
for you.
For me, oh my god, like I feel like everyone's very like academically like, oh, like I came here to study a course, blah, 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 which I always knew I would never study in Northern Ireland just because like I always knew I would get out. But like I feel like for me it's a lot of like in terms of like being gay and stuff, like that was a big factor in me wanting to leave there. Do you know what I mean? Like it would, like obviously, like, do you know what I mean?
No, I agree with you as
I
well.
think it's a big thing why I wanted to leave. I just felt like Northern Ireland got to a point where I was just like,
in Northern Ireland I got to a point where I'd like come out and all,
Yeah.
and then there was just like nothing after that.
you just
It was, like,
Yeah.
done it, like
you're just on like,
culture to support you and therefore you feel like you're alone and there's nothing there to actually provide you with a future that
yeah,
you
not even like alone in terms of being seen like oh my god, but like in terms of like where I can go for myself as a person,
Yeah.
like
And your
it's either-
career?
yeah,
and
like,
like-minded
Yeah.
people.
yeah.
There's a small group, and that's it.
Yeah, it's either like you stay where you are in that sense, like what you're doing right now for the rest of your life, or you either like sit yourself down and go somewhere and like study
Make the
different
decision
and like
and just-
change your life for like the better completely.
I chose to uproot because I was in foundation and I applied also and my tutors all tried to like push me towards like Brighton and other kind of like institutes that would take me on a lot easier, but like I had studied previously in GCSE stage that like a lot of artists that were taken seriously had graduated from there, and I'd seen a future for myself from that platform that this university could provide. It was at the same year that all the arts funding got cut in Belfast, so therefore like all the drama schools, all the
Yeah,
art
it's like a big
schools,
impact.
all the high schools, like everyone suffered from the cuts of the art funding, and that was all because of the government. And it felt
But
like there
it
was no
affected
future.
your
Like a
future.
knock-on
Yeah,
effect,
it
like
felt like
yeah.
there was no future for me, and there was no future for my
People
career.
below you as well,
And there was
like,
no future
younger.
for something that I wanted to do and I was passionate about. So I felt like I had to leave at this instant in time, but I also felt like I couldn't change it at that time either. I felt like I had to go away and learn for myself that, like, to a stable degree, that this is what I can do, and then come back and bring it maybe back to Belfast where something can be created.
Yeah. Furthermore, how did you find the transition from Northern Ireland to England, whether it's culturally, like to do with nightlife, like to do with even the LGBT community, like you're a very small subculture back in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, and even especially in Belfast, but here it's different, like there's obviously a lot more offered.
Well, like only turning 18 in Belfast, and like the last summer I had in Belfast I was 18. I went to the same gay clubs. There was a fucking Kremlin and there was a boombox. And that was it.
Jesus Christ.
That was it, true, yeah. And I was like, oh, where's the gay clubs? Where's the boys? No joke.
You hyped it up for so long.
And like it was so hyped up, and then you turned 18 and then that was it. And I mean, like it was fun for a summer. I could not imagine. Like, I mean, thank God I didn't, because I was leaving I was leaving in September. But I couldn't imagine like staying there, because it would probably become very repetitive.
There wasn't much like offered for
There
you.
wasn't much offered in the first place, but when you come here, there's like
diversity.
there's
like,
literally
so
not even
much.
diversity with like the culture, like even with regards to something as like simple as nightlife.
Yeah.
You got to go to so many clubs. You don't have to go to El Divino, no joke. You get to go to Metropolis. You get to go to these places where people have bloody and being raunchy and having sex on
Make
TV.
you feel
Yeah.
comfortable and normal.
Make you
Yeah.
feel comfortable. Like it might seem outlandish from
Yeah.
our point of view,
Yeah.
but when you get into it, you're like, wow, this is like what we're supposed to be doing and getting involved in. Like,
yeah.
This is how my
It's supposed to
parents
be
grew
like
up.
a
These are
purpose.
Yeah, this
stories
is how
that
other
I've
people
heard,
grew up.
like letting your hair down and actually feeling
Letting your
like
hair
you're
down.
someone.
and in Northern Ireland, they can
Yeah.
set their hair down
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's like not encouraged at all.
Yeah,
You know,
not
because everyone was
encouraged.
oppressed. Like you can't be getting
Yeah.
on the catch. You know,
Yeah.
it's just not a thing.
Yeah. Do you think that living in Northern Ireland and growing up in our culture helped you develop as artists and designers?
Well, sorry, I keep always starting the question.
No,
No,
it's
I
fine,
feel
go ahead.
completely. Was,
Like, I mean, as an artist and designer, I feel like it helped me develop personally first, which then fed on to my
Yeah.
work as an artist and designer. So, like, after having not lived in Northern Ireland for like a year or so, like, I've lived here for like 2.5 years now. But, like, after not living in Northern Ireland and not being within like the little bubble
Mm-hmm.
for like a year or so,
yeah.
you realise that Northern Ireland teaches you more, and like our upbringing there. I mean, it doesn't matter where we come from, it doesn't matter what background we come from, who we encounter. We're always taught this kind of like sensibility and like
Morals.
morals, but like almost like empathy. It's so empathetic,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the way
It's
we
like we're
behave.
so
It always
exposed to all these kind of these cultural
Different
defects that our
defects,
parents have
yeah.
kind of experienced. And therefore, we're brought up in the mindset that like we understand that people struggle, and we have that in our culture that we understand that people struggle, and we understand that our culture struggles with identity crisis,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
we
completely.
understand that like even trying to fight for the right to even have some kind of creativity.
As individuals, have you found your identity as a Northern Irish person has changed or developed since moving away from home?
Well, yeah, completely.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely developed. I feel like
Yeah.
you definitely get like you're more comfortable. I feel like over home, like me anyway, like coming from like such like a small like coastal town where like
Yeah.
everyone's like,
Uh-huh.
oh my god, like you wore skinny jeans and people were like, oh my god, he's wearing skinny jeans. Literally shouting at me in the street, like, and I was like literally like the whole time, like, it's a pair of skinny jeans, mate. Like what the hell, like literally,
I feel
and it's like
It's literally like when people
Yeah.
realise that like clothes are literally a vehicle for expressing
literally,
yourself.
literally.
And then
Yeah.
self-expression is not got to put boundaries on it, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like clothes are self-expression.
Yeah.
This is such a thing missing in Northern Ireland. Sorry
Yeah.
for going on about it, but like
No.
this whole like fashion expression of yourself through your fashion, and this brings it back to how you feel like in a big city. You're looking fucking
there's
stunning.
maybe too many people to care about one
Yeah.
person.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes, but at
Yeah.
the same
Defend
time,
those shadows.
look at yourself. Make sure you're looking good. If you're looking good, you're
Yeah,
feeling
genuinely.
fine.
Has your identity as a Northern Irish
I
person
feel
changed or
100%
developed?
that,
Like,
like-
are you more patriotic? Do you appreciate your heritage?
Ever since I left,
100%,
yeah.
like coming from Belfast, like I'd never voted in the city because I felt like I had to go to a side. I felt
Just
that I
because
had
you're
to be
Yeah.
Protestant or Catholic, and that was the only option I had for myself. And coming to London, like I voted, and I felt like I had a right because I didn't have to define myself to a side that my culture was only asking for. But ever since coming here, like I feel like I am so proud of my culture and I'm so
Yeah.
proud of my background, and I want to tell people where I'm from. I want to tell people the struggle, and I want to tell people why I'm here and what I'm doing here and what I want,
Yeah.
what I hope to do
Yeah.
in the future.
Do you think it's also important that you voice to people that Northern Ireland is so much more than the
What
kind
it-
of view of the
Yeah.
world? And like
Yeah,
it's like
100%.
Northern Ireland is you
Like,
got-
we're Northern
Yeah,
Ireland.
like you're like an
Northern
outlier.
Yeah,
Ireland.
Northern
It's
Ireland. Like
yeah.
if somebody asks you about Northern Ireland, you'd be like, I mean, I grew up there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm a product of Northern Ireland. I
Yeah.
mean, take me or leave
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
It's just
it's
definitely
like
a thing,
you
it's like
think
people
your
come to you and
identity
they're all
is
like,
grown.
oh my god, like, are you Irish? And you're like, yeah, like, fucking right. Like,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
so
yeah,
it's
you
like,
wanna-
yeah, and I'm like, I am.
And like I think it comes hand in hand with like leaving where you come from, being comfortable with like your sexuality or orientation or whatever
Yeah.
you're doing, and then adding on top of that where you come from and
Yeah,
adding the
yeah,
history.
Yeah. It
So
makes
you're
you
like,
appreciate it.
it makes you appreciate that 100%.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But Northern Ireland has had a difficult past, obviously sectarianism, hate, and even 20 years on after the Troubles, there's obviously still remnants of that in our culture. But as the first generation to grow up outside of the Troubles, do you think that like this is like the prime time to be a youth in Northern Ireland? I mean, there's so much happening like
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
the arts, fashion and music scene, like starting to thrive. Like you mentioned your
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I can't speak for myself. I mean, you were in Belfast for a couple of
Yeah.
years, and
Yeah.
you were in Belfast for a year, but I left Belfast when I was 18, like literally, like straight out of
Yeah.
there, like since I finished A levels. So I never had the experience of going to Belfast and like seeing the art scene,
Mm-hmm.
but I've had that through other people, and like a couple of people I've worked with on projects. A girl I know called Jerry, opposite Angel. She's from Belfast. Or no, she's from Portrush. She's from Portrush,
Mhm.
pretty sure. Anyway, she's working on this, creating this kind of like London kind of like rave, but also fashion, fine art, but also rave party thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a mixture of showing work, but it's also a kind of mixture of having a good time at the same time. That's called the Melt Fashion Collective.
Mhm.
And she's kind of brought that essence of like art and culture all mixed together, sexuality all mixed together, back to Belfast,
Yeah.
where that kind of thing doesn't even exist as
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the culture bit doesn't exist, the thing
Yeah.
doesn't exist,
Mhm.
but bring them all together as
Yeah.
like a little
Yeah.
like thing exists. And she's working so hard with these other girls I know, this girl Lucinda, this guy James, this guy
It almost
Nathan.
underlines like the Berlin scene and how when they
Very,
were so depressed,
very
and
much
so
so.
repressed
Yeah.
in their culture.
It's
that they
German
created
expressionism.
Yeah.
This aesthetic of expressing themselves through music and culture and art.
Like at the same time, I think we've just come from a bit where we're not
Yeah.
we're kind of like
Yeah.
acknowledging ourselves, but at the
Yeah.
same time, Belfast has always had a really, really strong culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's always been suppressed by other things going on,
Yeah.
so it's not our
So it's not
turn
that time to focus
to
on
go
it,
and put
almost.
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
that out into the others, and then in a couple of years
Mhm.
maybe bring that back and maybe
Yeah.
make Belfast
I
something
mean-
really special.
I mean,
going
there's
on.
obviously always been arts, fashion, and
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
music culture in Belfast. But maybe do you think now that this new like there's this new generation outside of the Troubles and all these young people who don't have the just the worries that
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
that our
outside
parents and everything
factors,
have.
like, yeah.
Like now people are able to develop that, and there's a really thriving
Yeah.
really thriving music
Yeah.
scene, and that's feeding into the fashion scene and everything, so it's
Uh-huh.
really growing.
I think it is just so slow growing though, and like as a generation we just want like quick results.
Yeah.
So at the same time as moving away from Belfast, like everybody's like kind of like, okay, well we heard stuff is happening in Belfast, but where is it? And in Belfast it's going to take time to thrive
feel
Yeah,
and
it's
grow,
like, I think it was like
and
years,
people
like-
aren't ready to wait.
I feel like it has
Foundations of it.
gave the absolute freedom to actually express yourselves, because like all of our parents, every one of our family that have actually experienced that, were so like kind of like boxed in to this degree that they had to be something, and they had to either fit one line or the other. And
Yeah.
Or they
weren't-
had to move away.
Yeah, and they had
Uh-huh.
to move away, and that was just the only option they were given. And I feel like now, being the first generation to actually grow up outside of that, we do bring a lot of creativity, and whether Belfast provides that for us or not,
But
I feel
Belfast
like it's going to
fosters
come
it.
back
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
Because it's there.
It
Fire's
is there,
there.
but it's
It's
like
there.
Belfast needs to start providing the kids that are
Accommodating
there,
it almost,
accommodating
yeah.
it and
Yeah.
making it thrive.
Yeah, there's so many people in Belfast that are so passionate about it,
Yeah.
and really
No, there really
I
is.
think everyone from Northern Ireland and Belfast, like, you are passionate about
Yeah.
where you're from,
Yeah.
and you're
And
Future
anything
as well.
we do,
You're
like
you're
I
really,
feel like you're brought up to completely cherish your future,
Yeah.
because as a
We're brought up to
child,
cherish
as a
everything,
child
I
of a
think.
parent that's went through that, like they kind of seen no future for themselves and seen no future
So
in
yeah, it's like
what they
scary.
wanted to do, or no future in what they kind of like desired to do. It was just they done what they had to do in order to survive. But being like a product of a child of that, it gave you the absolute
freedom.
kind of freedom,
Yeah.
the experiment and
Mhm.
Like,
express
it's like
yourself
skip
in
the
that.
generation, maybe like aspiration and
Yeah.
stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah. I think that in Belfast now there's the opportunity, and there's the people who are there who are like feeling
Making the most of it.
they're feeling this this openness and this freedom to maybe like experiment and do something really interesting, like you said with Mel,
the Mel Collective and stuff.
Mel Collective. Like I think that's a really good point to bring up about Belfast.
Like social media like does provide a lot
Yeah.
of that as well, because
Yeah.
it gives you an outsider's point of view to how other people live and how we want to live as a culture as well. And like being part of the UK, we feel that we have the right to live like any other UK citizen does, whether we're Protestant or Catholic or how you want to define yourself in that culture. It's just you need to find something that gives you the motivation.
Yeah, and it literally motivates you to be better. Do you know what I mean?
I think Belfast needs the.
It just needs like something there to like focus
it needs
it.
the opportunities from the government, the funding from the government.
It doesn't even need the. It needs.
Because everybody
Imagine
does it,
imagine going to London for like 2 or 3 years, like getting all these opportunities we're having. Like, I'm not fucking gassing myself up here. I'm just saying, I've had a fun run in London, but I will always go back to these kids and be like, honey, I was in fucking like the only gay kid in my fucking year Methody. And I'm in London now, and I'm fucking working with Tim Walker, bitch. I'm fucking working on a fucking photo shoot. And you can do it. No, the thing is, like, encouraging. No, the thing is that we were talking about earlier that dead end does not literally exist.
That dead end does come from it does come from the government though, and that's because our culture is so repressed from the fact there's no women's rights or gay rights, and that's why there's all these people who are becoming creative and who are becoming to voice their opinions and becoming to be the people that they want to be, because they want to show the people that we live with in our culture that this is something that actually is a generation that goes throughout the world, not just
doesn't just go
it's
from
not
where
a
we're from.
subculture. It's nothing to
That
hide
ties
under
it
the
in.
carpet.
That ties it
real.
into the whole social
It is
media
real,
thing. Like, this is our generation now. Like,
It is
everyone
real.
wants to go for fucking change, and it's not like we're sat around our phones. We're literally ready to like make a change. So
A last question here: what do you love about being Northern Irish?
what do I love about being Northern Irish? The attention that the Irish bit brings. Like, everyone's literally like, oh my god. Everyone's like, oh my god, you're Irish? Oh my god. No, but also that, but like secondary to that, it gave me a sense of self, and it gave me a sense of empathy for other people, because
100%.
back home we're literally all one and we live off each other's shoulders.
Our
And
Irish mothers, our
Irish mothers, our Irish grannies, my Irish granny, my granny
everyone,
Margaret.
Everyone is brought up to be a community, and everyone is there to support each other. Everyone is there to provide for one another, which is like the nicest community to ever come from. Coming to London, some people are always like, oh, like you're
just
so
off.
too nice, you're giving too much, like whatever. It's just, this is our culture, and this is where we come from, and this is part of what we've been brought up with, and this is something that I'm proud of.
Yeah.